Welcome to eXpd8. In this module I'd like to show you how the phone messages work. If I wish to view my phone messages, I can either access them through the main button on the home page, or the fact that my little phone on the bottom toolbar here is yellow is indicating that it's active right now and it has new phone messages for me. I can also access my phone messages this way. When I double click, it brings me into my phone messages for today's date. Notice I could go back and look at previous days there if I wished. Okay, so what I can see here is there are a number of phone messages. Notice some of them are red and some of them are blue. Let's see why. If I open up this top one, John Smith. Okay, what's it telling me? The call is from me. The status is at the moment taken. That means I have already dealt with that phone message. It's time stamped to say what time that message was inputted into the system for me. I can see who called and their number. The message I got was, wanted to know if you got the papers back from the bank yet, and that message was taken for me by Diane. When I returned that call to John Smith, I put a note in there myself of the message or the conversation I had with him, and I changed the status from its default not taken to taken. If I hit save there, I'm going to look at the Joanne Brown one, which is a new phone message. It's still red. I haven't dealt with it yet. If I have a little look in there, I can see still it's for me, the default status of not taken, and I can see what the message is there. Now, if I'm calling back Joanne, what I would do is put my cursor in here, come down a little bit, I'll phone her on that number, and I will take some notes of the conversation I've had with her. And I'm going to change that status from not taken to dealt with. So I've finished with that issue there. And I'm going to hit save. You'll now see that that Joanne Brown message has also gone blue to indicate it's been dealt with. On this John Smith one here, we can see there's a little suitcase here, a little bit of baggage. It's indicating to me that I've already linked that phone message to the file it relates to. I'm going to do the same one here with this Joanne Brown one. So I'm going to select the message and I'm going to say link to file. The system then will say which file. So I'm looking for it's all to do with my John Smith file. There we go. I'm finding John Smith, indicating it's on this file. It must go. Now I could at this point just hit save, which means save this phone message to the file. But what I can also do is, if I want to, go into advanced time and billing and indicate a cost against this phone call. Now by default the system is applying 1 unit of my time. Now I'll cover that in another module, how that's worked out. But I could say forget the default modules. I spoke to her for 4 minutes, let's say, and notice here how it calculates those 4 minutes times my hourly rate to calculate a cost for that phone call. I'm going to save that as it is. Now I want to see how those phone messages look on the file, so I'm going to come out of phone messages, I'm going to double click my magnifying glass and I'm going to search for that file, John Smith. There we go, there's my file, and when I open it I can see all of the activity on this file so far. So that includes outgoing post, incoming post, emails, etc. I just want to see my phone messages. So I click phone messages and I can see these are all the phone messages I've had. There's the Joanne Brown one. When I click in there I can see the original message and my comment back to her. I can also see what costs were associated with that. And there's the John Smith one I'd linked earlier on. Let's nip back to phone messages. I want to show you a little bit more in there. So into my phone messages, I'm still seeing the same information. Now, presuming I would have many phone calls in a day, the screen could easily be filled up with lots of phone calls. What I want to show you here is that on the right hand side, I have the option to view my phone calls by a day, by a week, or a month. But I also have the option to view them by their status. So it defaults to all, but I could say just show me my not takens. Who do I still need to deal with? Or I might have ones where I left a message or I got no answer, and I could choose to view them by that type of status. Okay, so that's our phone messages there. There's lots more functionality within here, such as the facility to search within the database for any time a particular person has called the office and to identify what day they phoned, the message they left, and whether or not the call was dealt with. But that's covered in the full training within eXpd8.